Hey there, and welcome to the Call to Cinema. You caught me setting up a movie binge party for one. Today we're looking at and talking about why to or why to not collect a Blu-ray in 2024. I know that would be an odd question, but today let's look at it from both sides of the fence. So before I go into the reasons of why, before I go on to the angel side of it, let's go to the devil's side, to the devil's advocate of why not to. It's easy to think of. It was easier for me to do this when it came to DVD, I because there's a lot more proponents for Blu-ray than there was for DVD or for when eventually want to get to the VHS series in this series of videos I'm doing. But for Blu-ray, there is a bit of the redheaded stepchild there as well. See, we've reached a point when collecting has become a big part of keeping physical media going. That's why we're seeing so many different sets and stuff like that. And the more and more we see it, the more and more we're seeing 4K shoved into that whole talking point. It's becoming the whole like part of the collector's zeitgeist, where people are looking at things right now and saying, I'm gonna wait till a 4K comes, or I really would like to get a 4K edition of that, or for the Columbia Classics like collections, like I really want those on 4K, so I'm not gonna pick up the Blu-ray. Now, people that don't care about the fact of it being on 4K are just going to say, well, I'll just grab it, I'll thrift it, I'll go to Walmart, I'll go to a shop and I'll pick it up, and it doesn't matter what the format is, so I could grab To Serve With Love on DVD and be just satisfied because I really like To Serve With Love, or Annie, or any of the films in those Columbia Classics, Taxi Driver, and be just satisfied because you got the movies. Let's be honest, there are people out there, and I'm one of those people too, that if I got a VHS copy of a film, I'm pretty happy. Uh, so if I eventually upgrade, it's more so because I want to do it for like features than it is for, okay, this has to be the pristine aspect of the format. So we have on one side the people that are going back into collecting physical media, that have gotten tired and just really tired of like the cost of streaming and the way streaming is going, the way movies are disappearing. So they're just going back to their stores, they're thrifting, they're going to the local shops, they're picking up what it is they like. They're picking up box sets, picking up different TV shows, picking up different films. And then on the other end of that spectrum, you got the people that are really collecting, that it's a serious endeavor for them to get movies in the best possible format. And on my last video, my DVD one of the comments that was mentioned was that yes, it's like DVD is there, but doesn't 4K put it into, or supposed to, when the remasters is done right, put it into the way the filmmaker wants that film, or initially wanted that film to be seen. So then Blu-ray is that in between spot. It's not for the people that are going out and just randomly buying, but it's, I mean, not now, before people that are going out and want to get everything on 4K. It becomes a bit of the redheaded stepchild, to use a phrase that my grandparents used to use. Um, is that a problematic phrase now, by the way? But it is like, where does that phrase come from? Anyway, so it that tends to be where we're at. If DVD fits that category for the casual and the coming back in, and 4K fits for the hardcore collector curator, uh, where exactly does Blu-ray fit? What place does Blu-ray have right now? Um, sometimes the cost between a 4K and a Blu-ray can be negligible. And honestly, at some points, some of the 4Ks are actually cheaper than some of the Blu-rays that are out there, and on par with some of the newer DVDs that come out, especially if you look towards getting something more along the collector's line. Now, I'm not looking towards collector Blu-rays so much today as I'm looking at just buying Blu-ray in general. Buying collector or boutique editions of a title, it's a completely different beast in and of itself. Obviously, I have a lot of those, but when it comes to collecting Blu-ray, Blu-ray in and of itself as a format, and not just focusing on a label or a title name, where does it fit? Well, I think it actually fits pretty well, and let's get to the reasons why. There's a lot of positives and pluses when it comes to collecting uh, in the uh, in the Blu-ray format. I collect in all formats, so I don't have a one that I'm okay. This is my format. But for certain things like TV shows, I definitely lean more towards a DVD. But for certain things, especially on Blu-ray, I and we're not looking at the collector stuff at this point. That is its own beast itself. But what I really want to look at and talk about is a few of the positives. One, obviously, Blu-ray does have a longer shelf life than the regular DVD. Now, that being said, I have had one DVD in total that's ever gotten the dreaded disc rot, at least at this point. So I've had DVDs that have lasted quite a long time. But that being said, by far and large, Blu-ray does tend to have a bigger shelf life. It does tend to last longer because of the way that it is made. But the biggest thing, and I think the absolute biggest reason, and we're going to get into that in a, we're going to get that now actually, and then we're going to really break down. When you watch the first of this video, I had a stack of Blu-rays right here, this right here. And I specifically chose that stack for a reason. One, it wasn't too heavy to carry. Two, the amount of films that are in that. So that small stack of Blu-rays that I just showed you consists of approximately 70 films. So just like think about that. Think about how much it would take space-wise to put 70 films on your shelf. That is 70 films right there. And that is a big thing. See, when DVD went to Blu-ray, one of the two things that they looked towards was okay, it will save you shelf space. And the other thing was they would show videos where look, this is on DVD and this is in high def, and look how great high def looks. But for a lot of people, as much as they liked those commercials at the beginning of some of the newer DVDs, trying to like getting you to go to Blu-ray, uh, it came down to like real estate, as it comes down to a lot, especially if you are collecting to get a lot of the films that you want. And if you're like me and you have a lot of films that you want to have in your collection, a lot of things that you want to have, that shelf space becomes more paramount. And with each like subsequent format, we have seen it like going down even more. A regular 4K disc, and don't worry, we will be talking 4K in the near future as well. It's part of the series. Is even smaller than a Blu-ray, and that's basically what we're going with. We want to get it as we should want to be getting things in there as nicely as possible without taking up too much shelf space. That's been one of my complaints about some of the modern day boutique collecting. I will do a video on that as well. So we'll look into that in at another time. Is that when you're like, I understand if, and Emmanuel said, and this is a good example of like a lot of movies on one set. So this set here, it's a bit beefy, but this movie has like, this set has like, I think like 24 films on it. 21 movies and two adjacent. So yeah, 23 films and a documentary. That's incredible. That's back in the day. If you picked up something like this on DVD, this would be around this big. Uh, a good example of that is a Russ Meyer set that came out on DVD. The initial Arrow Video Russ Meyer set came out in single like emerald cases, and that it was it was a big, hefty, chunky set. When they redid it, they put it into a book style case, and it made it a lot easier and a lot more manageable. And they actually even put an extra film in there, as well. So real estate is something that is of paramount importance to people that watch movies and want to have a nice collection. Also, if you live in an apartment or you live in a small area, maybe even if you've got kids, for instance, and your house is pretty much, you got a little space that's sectioned off for you, then it's nice to have something along those lines. I'll just give you a random example here. Here are two Mill Creek sets that were put out a couple years back that I really like. So this, I'm a big Rita Hayworth fan. This is 12 Rita Hayworth movies on here, and this is 12 Randolph Scott films, including those Bud Boddicker films that came out in a much bigger set and in a Criterion set as well. But if you want the movies, and I always go film over format, then these both have features with them. They both have all the, like a lot of the classic movies. Actually, the DVD set of this one has a couple more, but it's a good, inexpensive, and look how much shelf space that takes up. Barely anything when it comes to shelf space, and yet still looks absolutely gorgeous with different artwork on the inside. And I know a lot of people are big on that, and they want to like not open up a slip and see the exact same artwork. So these do have a different artwork on there as well, and that's also the same when I went to Best Buy a few years back and picked up this set. I had a bunch of Alfred Hitchcock stuff, but this didn't come with any of it. And this here little set here, which has Notorious, Rebecca, and Spellbound, three excellent Hitchcock films. Yes, I'll even go over there for Rebecca too. I actually like that one. And look how streamlined this is. Now there will be people out there that'll be just like, no, I need to have like a big chunky set, but I have the luxury of having a fairly large space for films. But at times when I didn't, when I lived in smaller apartments and stuff like that, I was like I was doubling things over. So this, like you see a shelf right here like this would be full. Then I would have to put like another row right in front of that. And I often would forget and not remember films that I had. I had times that I bought or rebought films that are already in my collection, and I just didn't realize it. I ended up giving them away or bringing them back to like a Blockbuster and getting like credit on it. Um, for me, Blu-ray has that nice spot of like it's a nice uptick in quality over a lot of DVDs. Not in the case of Terminator 2, but in the case of a lot of DVDs, you'll get a nice uptick in quality. Um, but it's the shelf space that is paramount for me. There's the quality aspect of it. That's great. I I'm good with what DVD looks like, but obviously Blu-ray is meant more for your modern TV. So whereas people mentioned in the comment section on the previous video that DVD will look good but not look as good on a regular new brand new widescreen TV, and will look really at its best on a CRT or an older type of like of a flat screen, then a Blu-ray is meant for the format that came out afterwards. It's meant for the TV that most of us have right now, that a lot of people have. Whether a lot of your parents probably have. A lot of the problem if they don't have a 4K TV, and a lot of like older people don't. I know I look like the older people, but I'm not as old as I look. Um, then they'll have a basic 1080p that they got from like Best Buy or Walmart or Target or somewhere like that. And the Blu-ray format is intended for the 1080p widescreen television that we have now and that's in most of our homes. If not as your key TV, it's probably as one of your secondary TVs. My house right now that I live in, my condo, has three TVs. We have a 4K LG C1 OLED downstairs. We have in our master bedroom a 55-inch can't remember the brand, but that's also 4K TV. But in our guest bedroom, we have like a 45 inch, 50 around, no, 50 inch LG uh, television set, and I don't know if it's. I think it is 4K, but it's like on the lower end of the 4K spectrum. Kind of like what you would expect for a third TV to be. And often, like for second or third TV, you're not looking towards to like spec it out the way you would with other things. And a lot of like monitors as well are that you hook up like DVD players or Blu-ray players too are going to be running in kind of a 1080p format. So you're not overtaxing anything. I don't want to get too technical when it comes to that. Uh, but the modern day TV, the non 4K TV, is meant for this format. And you do find some really good stuff on Blu ray that haven't made it over to 4K, at least not as far as I know. This is a very Canadian film. I'm Canadian, so I wanted to show this one. And it's a movie called Face Off. So this was the 40th anniversary limited edition of Face Off. It's a hockey movie. Of course it is. It's Canadian. And I'm a massive SCTV fan. And SCTV did a parody of the movie Face Off. This was a fairly popular film with Art Hindle from Black Christmas, what a lot of you guys are going to know him from. And the SCTV parody is included on here as well. So that was actually kind of cool, along with a commentary with Art Hindle, Trudy Young, and producer Harvey Sherman, which is actually super cool. What's really cool about this movie, if you're like a hockey fan, if you ever get your hands on this, some classic hockey players are in here, like Bobby Hoare, Bobby Hall, and Gordie Howe. We get footage of them. And if you don't know hockey, it's not going to mean anything to you. If you know hockey, you're going to be super excited if you don't have the film. But that is what we get when it comes to the Blu-ray format. We've got space, we've got an upgrade to the picture quality, a picture quality that is meant for a more modern TV, and it doesn't get to the overwhelming cost of 4K, because although I used in the section of why not to buy, because there's a lot of cheaper 4Ks, a lot of them aren't. A lot of 4K releases are around the same, around like sometimes 10, 20, 30, even $40 higher than the regular Blu-ray release. When I went to my local Walmart to pick up the movie Pearl, it was there on Blu-ray for $9.99. It was there on DVD for $9.99. And when the prices are the same like that, I'll take the uptick because they're the same price. I think that at that point, I'm not sure if the 4K was out, but a 4K of Pearl cost more than $9.99. And unless it's on like a Black Friday sale, it's probably going to cost you around $30 or and up. And then we get into the boutique stuff. Boutique stuff is going to cost more on a regular basis anyway, but you go to boutique 4K and you're even upping that price even more. And at a time we're all trying to like save and make our dollar go as far as it possibly can, whether it's because you just want to save some money, you've got a family and you're like, okay, eating and heat are two very important things, or you just realize you're like me and you're a little bit older and you're like, okay, I want to do stuff outside of my home, and that costs. So let's look at some ways that I can actually save some money. We are starting to see more Blu-rays come into shops for thrifting as well. So the thing is that, and I didn't mention it as much in the first part of the video because then I'm playing devil's advocate, is that with the Blu-ray, you're starting to see the price of the DVD and the Blu-ray becoming closer, because DVDs are starting to hit that point now of records of the collectability stature. And as they get closer to hitting the collectability stature, the price goes up even in like places like a Value Village or a Salvation Army. And then the price between the Blu-ray and the DVD becomes negligible, where you can, within like sometimes the same price or within like a dollar, you can pick up that slightly higher end release. And those are things that do matter with cost, when it comes to like space, when it comes to availability. Blu-rays are, you know, extremely available and around in a lot of places. And it comes to the aspect of just being able to get a nice collection of films for an inexpensive cost and really look into grabbing some stuff that you really want and have a nice little shelf. Say you've got, like, when I started out, my very first well, one of my very first my first DVD collection, my first, but I had a one of those smaller, three you know, three shelf that you'd get at your local Walmart. And that was the space that I had in the place that I lived at the time. So anything that I could get had to fit into that space without suddenly having to stack things up on top of the shelving. And when Blu-ray did come around, and I eventually started switching some stuff out and changing some things around, I was able to put more films within that same shelf. And there's a certain sense of, like, oh, I can breathe a bit now. I can watch a bit more. I can collect a bit. I can collect a bit more. It makes it a little bit easier and a little bit more, saves some bit more space. And I know if you're watching this from the UK, that a lot of some of the release over there, like in an Arrow video or an 88 films, do tend to be like chunky beasts, even for your regular Blu-rays. It's still, like, size-wise, does tend to be a bit smaller um, for than the DVD, at least in when it comes to the height of it. And if you get to a point where you have to stack, then that's when you're going to notice the difference with that. So why collect Blu-rays in 2024? For the same reason, in a lot of cases, that you're going to collect DVDs. The added incentive and the added bonus is going to be, aside from cost and space, which is what we looked at when it came to DVDs, um, it is going to be that uptick towards the TVs, the modern day TVs that are out there now. I believe in film over format. So if I like a movie, I will pick that movie up, and if I see it in the store and I want it in whatever format, whether that be VHS, DVD, Blu-ray, 4K, or Laserdisc or CED. Uh, Whichever one intrigues me the most, whichever one I want to grab. But today, on the case for Blu-ray, I think we've built a good, strong case. And I think this is the easiest one to do out of all this entire series, because as we go on, we're going to be looking at 4K and we're going to be looking at VHS, and those are going to be slightly harder arguments to make than the Blu-ray argument. Without belaboring it even more, I want to thank everybody that watched the DVD video. That really meant a lot to me, and I'm going to say I got kind of blown away, and I was really surprised. So hopefully the same people come back and watch this video. So why buy 4K? Why buy Blu-ray in the era when 4Ks are out there to give you what the filmmaker says they want the movie to look like, or when DVDs out there, VHS, and that's for some people, collectors, the quality is too lessened for them. Um, well, let's end this on a more recent note. Recently, James Cameron has put out 4K editions of some of his most wanted films, uh, The Abyss and Terminator, and the Terminator 2. Well, Abyss and True Lies were two of the big ones that weren't out there. And people were extremely excited until they put them into their player and they're like, what's this? This doesn't look the way that I'd hoped that it would look. And you saw a lot of them going back to their Blu-rays and DVDs. And it'll be a little miffed that they'd spent extra money to buy the 4K when the 4K didn't hit the quality that they were hoping it would hit. And sometimes, I'm not James Cameron, obviously. I like to have his money though. Sometimes the filmmaker may not always be totally right. And in this case, it's his movies, it's his toys, he can do what he wants with them. Same with George Lucas when he used to have Star Wars. But revisionism and looking back and what they want to do, there's a case to be made for once a movie's out there and once people fall in love with it and take ownership of it, uh, that you hope that it reaches a certain level. And that, I think, is for another video. Space, cost, quality, Blu-ray has it all. Now, as for this set here, what exactly is on here? Well, for you that watched the first video, you know exactly where we're going with that. Anyway, my name is Aaron. Thanks for watching me today in the Call to Cinema. We will be doing 4K and VHS in this series as well, and I'll give my pluses and minuses for each of those. But for right now, have a wonderful day, grab some tea, and listen to a couple words from Subscription Sloth.
Oh God. Oh, Subscription sloth here. Just want to remind you that I know in the summertime especially it can be super warm and lazy. But if you're liking this video, make sure to like, share, and subscribe. And if you want to go that step further and join the Patreon, there's a link for that down below. You can super sticker, super chat, or donate. But above all, just lie back and enjoy the video because that's what I'm going to do. Hey there, I really hope you enjoyed the video. And in case you didn't know, we have memberships now. So if you want to check that out, there is usually a link in the description box down below. I have to go and, well, do what Wendigos do. Don't look it up.
We waited. Congratulations, and that means you watched the end of the DVD video as well. Aside from what I showed you previously, these here, the other things that were shown in this video was this here, Indiana Jones: The Complete Adventures. Well, was complete until the newest movie came out, and it's in this hard book right here. We have Raiders, Temple of Doom. I love these books. Now, some people don't like this, but I love this format. The Last Crusade, Crystal Skull, and the bonus features disc. So some really good stuff on here as well. You know, gotta go and buy the other one, but still a nice thin case. This is the complete Back to the Future trilogy, and hopefully this is as far as it goes for Back to the Future. But what's really neat about this set here is it also includes the animated series, which actually was a lot of fun. It has a ton of features on here, and for me, this is, I don't need to get a 4K of this. This is about as definitive as I need when it comes to this. A nice set that I have, and I'm very proud of this one. I know there's a big set with a big book and all this type of stuff, but I love the form factor and the space saving with the set. And this is the Planet of the Apes original series. We got Planet of the Apes, Beneath the Planet of the Apes, Escape from the Planet of the Apes, Conquest of the Planet of the Apes, and Battle from the Planet of the Apes. You know, they're loaded with features. Each one has its own, like fairly bland, but this letting you know exactly what it is. But what's really neat is for me is I like it when they tell you what the extras are, but I like it a bit even more when they don't. So when you put it in and there's a whole bunch of extras, you're like, okay, this is cool. This is time to explore. Also, I would like to see a big edition of this set, but for now, Nightmare on Elm Street, like even when I get like if a big, say Shout Factory tomorrow comes up with a big Nightmare on Elm Street set, I still will keep this set right here. Much in the way that I do have I'm not sure if it's visible here, but it's up there. So yeah, of the Friday the 13th set, which is massive. And I also have the Blu-ray Friday 13th set that's slimline like this that I keep at the farm because I do like to watch the Friday 13th films, and I don't always want to grab the massive set, and I want to have them in both of my locations. This is still my favorite Alien set, is the Aliens Anthology set. I think it absolutely looks gorgeous, and the way that it's done, I know there's the other films out there now, but these are my Alien films. It is extremely cool. I'm a fan of these book things. No, a lot of people aren't, but I do. Like we got Alien right here. Look at this. Look at this. Gorgeous. We got Aliens. I like the fact that they give like space in between. Alien 3, my least favorite of all these actually. Justice for Newt. Alien Resurrection, which is cheesy fun. And of course the famous bonus disc, the archives and the making of anthology, and the viewer's guide in the back. Really nice set. If you ever get a chance to pick it up, it's actually really cool. And again, I prefer it over the 4K set, along with the Magnificent Seven set as well, of the original Magnificent Seven films. We got like all 4 films here: Magnificent Seven, Return of Magnificent Seven, Guns of the Magnificent Seven. God, I'll be able to get that out, and the Magnificent Seven Ride. The last 2 we have here is first this Hammer Films collection that was put out by Mill Creek, which has a nice collection of Hammer Films releases. And I have some pretty chunky indicator box sets from Hammer. But included in this here set, by the way, is Revenge of Frankenstein, Curse of the Mummy's Tomb, These Are the Damned, Two Faces of Dr. Jekyll, The Old Dark House, The Gorgon, Cash on Demand, The Snorkel, Maniac, Die Die My Darling, Stop Me Before I Kill, Never Take Candy from a Stranger, Scream of Fear, Stranglers of Bombay, Terror of the Tongs, Parts of Blood River, Sword of Sherwood Forest, Camp on Blood Island, Yesterday's Enemy, and Creatures the World Forgot, including commentaries on certain films and some featurettes and retrospectives and a 12-page like booklet. And last but not least, we got to bring the action, and the roundhouse kicks in there with the Chuck Norris 5-pack. There was a 4-pack, there was a 3-pack, but I had to get myself the 5-pack. I got this at a where did I get that? At a Costco actually, and it had Code of Silence, which actually I have now on its own, to be honest with you, from Keanu Loebro. Lone Wolf McQuaid, which I have from Scorpion releasing. Missing in Action 2, the beginning. I'm the only person I think that likes Missing in Action 2 better than Missing in Action. And Delta Force. So 5 cool films there. Anytime I want to just sit back and have some Chuck Norris goodness. So there you go, guys. If you stayed for the ending, then you got to see that extra bonus stuff and hopefully enjoyed it. 70 movies in total that I brought up here. Form factor and space, it's a thing. Like real estate on your shelf is a real important thing. I'll see you next time, and hopefully you enjoyed this video as much as I enjoyed making it. See you soon.